Hi everyone, I'm here today with Britt-Marie Monks, the Honeymoon Fixer, who has very kindly agreed to play 20 questions with me. How are you today?
I'm good. How are you?
Really good, really good. Some lovely sunshine here today for
Yes.
us. Our first question is, where are you in the world and why?
So I'm in London, specifically Canary Wharf, and it's where I live and work. I'm here with my husband today and my 5-year-old.
And with your work, you do traverse the travel and wedding industry. What do you love about each?
So I've always loved to travel. It's always been a passion of mine. I got married abroad. We did an elopement wedding. So we combined my passion of travel and then obviously getting married. So ever since then, it's just always been a dream of mine to help or to plan weddings like I had, because it was just the most perfect day, just the two of us. And then, yeah, just from a young age, I've always travelled, always been really passionate about it. So it just made sense when I just could put the two together and created the Honeymoon Fixer.
Say, why did you start your own company? Was there anything more to it than the love of travel?
Yeah, I got made redundant whilst I was on maternity leave. So I actually come from a corporate background and was in sales for many, many, many years. And then obviously just travelled freely with my husband when we weren't tied down with the 5-year-old. And yeah, so when that happened, an opportunity came up. I was at a crossroads. Where do I go? What do I do? And my husband and I were in the kitchen having a glass of wine. And he said, "You are so amazing at booking our holidays. Look what you did with our wedding. Is there something that you can do?" Very long story short, I bought into a travel franchise where I started my business, left them after 18 months and went solely independent and created the Honeymoon Fixer. But that's basically how it came about.
What's the most rewarding thing about having your own business?
Definitely for me being my own boss and setting my own hours and my schedule. And yeah, I love that. I always struggled in the corporate world of being managed, let's say. So to be my own boss, it's like living my own dream. I set my own hours. I can, get up when I want to get up and work. I can work the days I want to work, take the time off when I need to take the time off. And just that flexibility is just amazing.
Sure, but there's also challenges, aren't there? What are the challenges?
Yes, it is challenging. So, for example, I run a travel business. We're in a world pandemic. I'm not being paid at the moment. Whoopee. It can be very lonely, very lonely working for yourself when you're used to being in teams of people. I'm a very sociable person, so I like to be around people and I like to talk. And I found that quite hard in the beginning. Setting a strict schedule as well, because you do sometimes, although I can work when I want to work, I'm a bit of a workaholic. So sometimes I would work late into the night, with my husband a little bit, but business, so you give it all, your all. But I think the most challenging part is, experience what we're experiencing now and the difficulties and financial strains that can potentially come with sometimes.
When you were starting up, who were your main client base, and then how has that changed over the years? Or has it changed?
So my first ever bookings, yes, my first bookings were actually honeymoon straight away. The first booking I ever made into travel was a honeymoon, and the majority of my bookings now are split between honeymoons and holidays. And then the weddings really started to take off around 18 months ago. And what I've noticed since the lockdown, they're becoming a lot more popular. Lots of couples that have had their weddings cancelled in the UK are now looking at elopements or doing something smaller abroad. So my 2022 bookings are, a lot of them currently are weddings, but I would still say the majority of what I do are honeymoons. Yeah, it really is a pleasure when you're talking about their honeymoon and that part. We don't normally get stressful clients around that part of their wedding planning.
Can you tell us maybe something about a person who's been a valuable role model in your life?
Yes, it's going to sound a little bit cheesy, but it's definitely my daughter. I think, from obviously, had I not had her, I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing now. And everything I do in my business is for her. I want her to look at me one day and say, my mum is my role model, because she's setting up this business. I call her my little mini moon fixer. So she gets involved with our bookings and she'll ask lots of questions about the clients, and she'll get really, she's really keen to explore the world. Like, we've got a downstairs and I show her all the different places in the world that we've been to and where mummy books and stuff. But yeah, she's really the reason I do this. She's completely the reason I got into it, and she's definitely the reason why I continue it.
How have you spent your time in lockdown?
Yeah, so work in the beginning of the first lockdown was manically busy because obviously instantly the world shut. So that was just a ground-halting load of cancellations, which I know is the same for the wedding industry. So that was really stressful in the beginning. And then after that, actually, we just had loads of family time, which has been really nice. First lockdown, my daughter wasn't in school, so there was no stress of us having to have this daily routine of teaching. She was in nursery. My husband was working from home. It was spring. Can you remember the weather that we had? It was just phenomenal, wasn't it? So we just went for really long walks, and we've never had that amount of time as a family before, which was lovely, really nice.
So through this time, which, you know, as you've just said, it's been quite very tough for the industry. Who in your life has been your rock or a support group? Who are the people who keep you going?
Yeah, definitely my husband, and my family. So from a financial perspective, if it hadn't been for him, I wouldn't be being able to carry on with the business. So he's financially been keeping us going. Prior to COVID, I was diagnosed with breast cancer. So the year before that, we were dealing with that, and he was just my rock throughout all of it. He just, I had to just give in, which is not something that I'm used to doing, and hand myself over to the doctors and to whoever to heal me and make me better. And my husband, he was just such a rock. I just had to lean on him throughout. So, the last couple of years, it's really strengthened and solidified our relationship even more.
So we're all sort of obsessed about working from home and finding our little corner of the world to work in. Is it a shed or is it a kitchen? What's your current home workspace like?
Well, just before we went live, I was talking to you, wasn't I? So I'm really into feng shui. We're coming into a new year on the 4th of February. We change years. We're going to an ox year. So my feng shui consultant has done our annual top up, as I call it. And so every year my workspace moves around. So I don't actually have a permanent desk in my home. So what I do is I've got a bean bag, and I sort of position that in places that are really good for me energetically to work in. So currently, as we're having this call, I'm sat in my hallway on a beanbag with like a little contraption in front of me with my laptop sat on, and I'm facing a particular way because it brings in a positive chi, and it's good for calls or interviews like this. So that's my current workspace. So it's a little bit different to what people are probably used to. Yeah, got to change it up.
So can you tell me what's the favourite part of your day?
I'm so cheesy. It's 7:30 in the morning, or between 7:30 and 8, when I wake my little one up and I call her on the Alexa, so it's drop in. I'm like, it's time to get out now, Bubs, and she comes in and gives me cuddles.
What words or phrases do you commonly overuse?
So my latest one is unprecedented.
Oh, okay.
I don't like that word. So it's unprecedented, and probably it's the filler of a conversation. Because you're just giving yourself seconds to think, aren't you? But yeah, I seem to be using the word unprecedented a lot with my clients, and it's a word that I want to put park away and never have to use again.
Can you tell me what's the most important lesson that life has taught you?
That I'm just stronger than I could ever have dreamed or imagined. Life can be really cruel, but we can learn from it. We can become wiser and stronger, and just don't take a single second for granted. I've really become more spiritually connected and aware over the last, definitely since my diagnosis, but more so since lockdown. And I've really been tapping into those practices, and it just has completely changed my outlook on life. I'm quite a stressed person, and I get quite affected by my surroundings. Tuning in and really becoming a bit more spiritual, I think that's really grounded me. But humans are strong individuals.
So if you were to have your dream dinner party, who would you invite?
It's Amy Winehouse. I loved her. She was just an icon to me. Because he's just fascinating, right? Incredible. Prince William, always had an affinity with Prince William. I just connect to him. And my mum, she unfortunately passed away like 22 years ago. So I'd love to have her back. She would be doing the cooking though, because she was a fantastic cook. It's for selfish reasons. Well, one, I want to hug her again, and two, I just want her to cook me another meal.
Who would play you in a movie of your life?
So Drew Barrymore is someone I've always just loved. I know she's not really around much now. I think she's hilarious. love her backstory. You know, she comes from, you know, a bit of a troubled past. She didn't just have it easy like a lot of Hollywood stars do. Just really relate to her. So it's always someone I've connected with. So I think she could play me pretty well.
Can you tell us something about yourself that is surprising or that people would find unexpected?
Oh, so I've lived on my own since I was 15. I can put that one. Yeah, so that's like, people don't tend to live on their own from such a young age, but that's story. So the spiritual side, I think because I'm thinking probably more about my friends and stuff, and they know I'm very in tune with that. And even my team of my holiday fixers, I constantly talk to them about their charts, and I read their charts for them, and I give them some dates. I love that sort of stuff. They probably don't always want it, but I tell it to them.
If you could live anywhere in the world, where would it be and why?
South Africa. Just love the country. I just think it's such a vibrant, eclectic, it's got something for everyone. We went on safari there the year before we had Ava, and we've been very lucky to go to lots of places around the world, and that's just somewhere that I just left my heart, a piece of my heart there, and I always am drawn back to it. So I think South Africa would be definitely up there for me.
Excellent. What trait or character qualities do you most admire in others?
Honesty, integrity, and someone that can have fun. I think a lot of people are very serious, and I am a serious person, but I am a practical joker, and I just love to laugh. So for me to really connect with someone, if you can sort of tick all those boxes, we just get on like a house on fire.
Number 19, what has been your guilty pleasure during lockdown?
Apart from wine, guilty pleasure. So I love to cook anyway, but one of the things that I wasn't very good at was baking. So I'm a good cook, I'm a good home cook, but I would never, wasn't very confident with baking. So that's something that Ava and I've been doing a lot of in the first lockdown, and we just continued it. And then we do a Saturday night date night. So it's something that we started as a family. We'd all get dressed up, makeup, Ava would put on hers, we put on pretty dresses, and we would just have a date night indoors every Saturday, and we've continued that throughout. So that's those two things, baking and date night.
Okay, last question. What are you most looking forward to doing when life returns to normal or semi-normal post-COVID?
Getting on a plane and going away with no restrictions. Obviously seeing friends and family is like a no, right? You want to go and hug your loved ones and all of that, and have that space. But I just want to go away. I just want to be looked after and just get on that plane and just relax and put all those worries behind me, and sip a cocktail on the beach. I've got books and I'm like, please let it go ahead.
Oh, well, that sounds like something to really look forward to. And look, let's hope for everybody's sake that it's sooner rather than later.
Yes.
Thank you so much for playing 20 questions.
Oh, that was so fun. I loved it.
So you take care, and I'll see you soon.
Thank you. Bye, guys.
Bye.